Hi folks. So this one is about fear. Well, because yesterday I was watching the Man United versus Everton game and oh my goodness me, you could see fear. Fear was leading Man United. Those players were absolutely full of it. They weren't taking risks. Everton went down to 10 men because two of their players got into a bit of a altercation and one of them was sent off. Whether they should have been sent off, I think the player was sent off more for bringing the game into disrepute because he slapped his teammate. He did a bit. When I originally saw it at the time, I considered that Keane, the Everton defender, was, and I think he was to a certain degree, he was bullying. I mean, it's Gay, the midfielder, because the midfielder is quite small. Gay, quite tiny. I guess about 5'8", maybe. Keane is quite massive. And Gay basically passed the ball. They were in their own defence. He passed the ball for Keane to then run onto, so Gay could run a bit further and Keane could pass the ball back to him. And Keane didn't bother to actually go to the area where he should have gone to, because that's where he should have gone to. So Gay got annoyed, had a go at Keane. Keane then shoved him. But before he shoved him, he put his face right into this other player's face. That was bullying. He was basically saying, I'm bigger than you, back down. And he expected the little man to back down. The little man said, sod you. And he didn't back down. So, in a way, yeah. I was looking, thinking, little man, well done. And when he was given the red card, he got furious. He wanted to put Keane into the grave. Seriously. He would have tore him up. So, anyway, referee stopped that from happening. But United, again, all the way through the game, Gary Neville was commentating on Sky. And he was saying, why isn't Luke Shaw stepping up? Surely he can see that you don't need three central defenders, so why isn't he stepping up? And you could see all the way, it was fear. Fear was stopping them. You know, players are getting the ball, they were just passing it sideways, they're just passing it back. Their fear. And part of the reason was, again, when they're playing, when they get the ball and they're crossing the ball, because they've got that fear already in there, they're impacted by that already. Yeah, before you even start, you're full of fear. And so therefore, yeah, you approach everything and you're afraid. And so therefore you're not natural, you're not relaxed. And so even when you kick the ball, you're not kicking the ball with the same sort of belief. And, you just know whether it's right. Now, I was watching an interview earlier with Scholes and Butt on their channel, I think it's called The Good, the Bad and the Football. And they were talking about the fact that when they did practicing, and they would practice certain things like hitting the crossbar from halfway, and you knew that when you kicked it, you knew that it was going to hit the crossbar or not within a split second. As soon as you strike the ball, you just know whether it's good or not. And you see the players, they're crossing the ball, and they're not crossing the ball to a teammate. They keep on hitting the defence. And again, sorry, how have you not practiced it? Why do you know that Everton have got big defenders? You don't have Sesko playing. Sesko's injured, so you don't have any big guys in there. Why are you looping the ball up? The only reason they're doing that is because that's what you do in that situation. You're wide, you cross the ball in. I was at one of the parks and there was a football game going. And again, the right winger was doing exactly the same. Every time he got the ball, cross the ball in high, and the defence was dealing with it. I said to him, why don't you cross the ball in low? Every time you cross the ball in high, the defence is getting it. So change what you're doing, cross the ball in low, because they're big. They don't really want the ball coming in low. They can deal with it high because they're big. And that, come on, How do professionals not know this? You can understand that people at amateur level not knowing this, but professionals should know. And they do. It's just that fear comes in. When fear comes in, they go back to very, very basics. And that's what they're playing, basics. They were playing basics football. Because, yeah, all the more difficult things, Ahmad wasn't really trying to take people on, because recently he had a game, I can't remember who it was. It wasn't Tottenham, I think it was the game before Tottenham. But he tried to take on a defender. Defender had him for toast every time. Every time. Just he couldn't do anything against him. Not only was the defender physically stronger, but he was faster. And since that game, Ahmed just, again, he's not confident in his speed or his ability right now. So therefore, he's not doing it. You've got Bruno's playing too deep, and then he's trying to shoot from too deep, and then you've got Xerxes played, and for me, Xerxes, what? I don't know why they bought Xerxes. Because when they bought him, straight away, he was saying, I'm not a 9, I'm not a 10, I'm a sort of 9.5. Well, that's not a position. It really isn't. In Italy, it is. The game's slower. So therefore, they have players in sort of middle sort of positions. In the Premier League, it's a damn sight quicker. We can't be mucking around with someone he's not a 10, he's not a 9, he's somewhere in between. He doesn't really score, he doesn't really assist, he doesn't really do anything. So, why he's still at the club, I don't know. Whoever brought him in thought that maybe that would work somehow. It didn't, and it won't. But yeah, the club is full of fear. And that's why I said, what they should have done, they should have got rid of all the players from last season. More or less every single one. More or less every single one. But in that game against Everton, they had only 2 players different from the players that are playing last season. So, yeah. And again, that's not something to... Because against Tottenham, again, United were quite poor. Against Forest, United were quite poor. They managed to get draws out of both. Against Liverpool, they were actually quite poor. Liverpool had so many shots on target. And because, again, with United, they have players who they should be able to actually muller certain teams. And a lot of people are still saying it's a system. It's not. It isn't, because with Ruben's system, the whole idea is you're supposed to get the ball, you're supposed to release the ball quickly, so get it forward quickly so that you can actually start attacking their goal. And the problem is they're not doing it. And the reason why they're not doing it is because of fear. It's not because the system's wrong. They're saying, but if the other team plays, low block, then that won't work. Yes, it will. It will. Because the other team's only playing a low block when you eventually get your players up there. Because you've given them time to get back. So many times you see it with Man United, that they give teams so much time to get back and get that low block. Don't give them that time. But again, they do. And so, therefore, yeah. But right now, does Amrin have the players that he needs? No, because in the summer, again, what did they bring in? They brought in 2 number 10s, another 9 who might be good enough in the future, and a goalkeeper who might be good enough in the future. We just had one of the worst seasons ever. And the people above Amrin thought that was good enough. Good job done. We brought in 2 players that are ready and 2 players that might be ready in 3 or 4 years' time. Hey! Good job done. Give us a pat on the back. What? No. I feel sorry for Amrin. And Amrin said, he'd prefer his players to be fighting a bit more because, once a pass goes wrong, what he wants them to do is react. He wants them to, kick in a bit. He wants them to say, that isn't good enough. When all the time, all they're doing is saying, no, that's fine. If a cross is missed, that's fine. Why? Because, again, fear. Fear. They won't say anything. Because, again, if I point out, it's like church. If I point out what you're not doing right, you're going to point out what I'm not doing right. So they won't do it.